Good evening. I am Manfred Brusco, coming at you from a remote, undisclosed location in the hills of the Appalachians. I had to take the paranoia tape off my camera because, just like COVID, there's a whole craziness that's just popping out everywhere. And I just want to remind people, you guys remember when President Trump was in office and you had the fake news, and they would go around saying fake things about him all the time. They said he, had prostitutes in Russia. They said Russia, 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 and how they were working together to stop the election of Hillary Clinton. Those emails that were spread out by Julian Assange, and they said it was Russia, 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 when it was actually Seth Rich who got killed, shot in the back. And oh, wait, that was a failed burglary attempt, a failed robbery attempt. Sorry, but some things to think about. Is Russia really the bad guy? Is Putin really the evil dictator person that everybody seems to think? Do you guys remember that the Obama administration, with the help of George Soros, put a puppet government in place in the Ukraine? And that's when the civil war in the Ukraine happened, when the people didn't want the puppet government that Obama put there. And then you guys remember Joe Biden calling Ukraine and saying, if you don't fire that prosecuting attorney who's investigating my son, I'm going to go ahead and not give you the money that we were going to give you. And so the guy's like, oh, he's fired. Ha ha, let's all laugh together. And see, that's how you get things done, Joe said. You guys forget that Burisma, the gas company in the Ukraine, the government-sponsored gas company, made a deal with Hunter Biden to hire him as an executive on their board of directors. Burisma was the name of the company. And there's a picture of him and Joe Biden and the two executives of Burisma out on the golf course. Or Trump had that song, "Look at this photograph," and it showed the picture of them. You remember when the fake news said that President Trump hired a prostitute to urinate on him in some kind of sleazy motel room, and it was all basically a story made up by Hillary Clinton and posted and put out there by the FBI to make Trump look bad. And it all turned out to be fake. The two impeachments were fake. So why all of a sudden are you believing that the Ukraine is good and Russia's bad? I mean, everybody seems to be getting together on this. Like, we're all uniting. We love the Ukraine. Poor Ukraine. It's like, did you guys even know who the Ukrainians were? I mean, prior to Burisma and Biden, did you guys even know that Vladimir Smolenski, is a comedian and an actor? Just like Alexandria Ocasio Cortez was an aspiring actress and she finally landed her job as a congresswoman. And that's, by the way, not changing. She's still acting. So think about this. I mean, with a corrupt government in the Ukraine and Vladimir Putin, who, contrary to popular belief, he's made some pretty interesting statements. Like here's something that he said to the liberal press. Liberal press says, "Mr. Putin, shouldn't Russia care about global warming?" And President Putin said, "Russia could stand to be a little bit warmer." So he would make these statements to really spin up the liberal media. There was another statement about, doesn't it bother you that President Trump hired a prostitute in Russia and did all sorts of vile and nasty things? By the way, that was made up by Hillary Clinton, proven. Trump was spied on, proven. Fake news, proven wrong again and again and again. And why are you believing them now? Anyway, Vladimir Putin says, if I don't believe the whole Trump is getting a prostitute thing, but if he were to, at least he gets them from the best country in the world, who have the best prostitutes in the world. He was saying that Russian prostitutes are better than any other prostitutes in the world, and that if Trump were to get one, he obviously would get one from Russia. But Putin has a sarcastic sense of humor. Now, he's not trying to dominate the world. He's got basically people threatening NATO on his doorstep. Russia has been invaded time and time again throughout their history. I mean, the whole Bolshevik Revolution thing took their country away from them for 70 years. They are not going to let that happen again. So why is Russia targeting hospitals? Why are they targeting schools? Why is Russia doing this intolerable thing that all our companies have to get together and tell Russia, stop it, Russia. We're going to shut down the McDonald's in your country, Russia, because you guys are mean. Well, Putin was just giving a speech yesterday to the biggest stadium in Russia, the holds the most people, and the Russians were cheering him. And he started out with talking about how to lay down one's life for one's brother or one's friend is the greatest sacrifice that anyone can make for a friend or brother. And he's basically quoting the Bible. Then all of a sudden, the feed to his speech got cut, and then all of a sudden you see him walking away, and the Russians are cheering, every one of them, and then they play the talent that was supposed to be there for the rally. Anyway, it didn't sound like any of the Russians were dissenting. So, and I'm doing this off the cuff, so I'm trying to think here. What I did find out that his speech said was that there are bioweapons facilities that are hidden in the Ukraine, that the United States State Department or whatever group put them there. I mean, he didn't say the United States, but since the United States put the Ukrainian government where they're at, thanks to George Soros and a little bit of money from the Obama administration, it's a corrupt government. Now, the people of the Ukraine are innocent and they don't know what's happening because, like you, they have been lied to by their media over and over and over again. So I don't understand. One second you believe they're fake news, then the next second you're all in agreement and we're giving $1.7 trillion to the Ukraine, which, by the way, is taking sides in a war, which is an act of war. And do you guys remember that Russia has nuclear weapons? You know, maybe the way that swamp gets cleaned is if Washington D.C. gets wiped out by a nuclear weapon. Maybe we'll give Russia a mulligan. Like if you just do that one, we'll be all right with the rest. Now I know there's a bunch of innocent people in Washington D.C., but you know sometimes a parasite gets so entwined in someone's body that the only way to wipe it out is to kill it and maybe let God sort it out. I know I sound very, very evil in my thinking that I shouldn't care about the Ukrainians, I shouldn't care about the people in Washington, D.C., but we have a parasite. We have a leech that's been sticking around our neck and is squeezing the life out of us and telling us that it's good over and over and over again. Well, if you think about it, where do terrorists like to hide weapons of mass destruction or bio-terrorist weapons? They like to hide them in places like schools, hospitals, so that when the evil, bad, terrible Russians are blowing things up, you're like, why in the heck would they target a hospital or a school? Well, you know what happens with the Israelis, the Palestinians, if you'll call them that, the former Jordanians, Lebanese, Syrians, Egyptians, who are calling themselves Palestinians, are hiding out in schools, in hospitals, and firing rockets at Israel. So they wonder why Israel's firing rockets at poor, helpless schools and hospitals when they're getting attacked by rockets is because they have no choice. Now, if there are bioweapons and Putin is going after them, he's doing the world a favor. Now, there's Ukrainian people are suffering, but what kind of suffering have we gone through the past 2 years because of this, the stuff, I should say, that we were put through by the Obama/Biden administration? So imagine the whole COVID thing could have been prevented if someone would have just went to the bio facility in Wuhan and wiped it out before it started, or prevented the professor from Duke University selling the secrets, selling the virus to China, or even better yet, wiping out Fort Detrick, which makes all the bioweapons most of the planet uses, and changes things into viruses that kill people, that we supply, that we it's like, how do you deal with the fact that we are living in a country where the bad guys are in charge and they're making it seem like people who are trying to do good are evil? We're in the times where evil is called good and good is called evil. So just remember that. And the fact that maybe Russia's not the bad guy. Maybe Russia's doing what they've got to do. And maybe if you're praying that God will smite those evil poor Russians, maybe you don't understand what's fully going on because you've been lied to again and again. Why are you believing them now? Anyway, I'll put the paranoia tape back on my really crappy camera on this. computer, and I'll probably get this thing that I'm making here shot down by YouTube. I'll put it on BitChute too, and I'll allow you guys to give me the hate comment. I understand if you don't understand. That's fine. I'm just supplying you with a different viewpoint. Thank you.